Imagine looking at a crowd of 5,000 hungry men, and all you have is one boy's lunch. The disciples panicked. What Jesus did next broke every rule of reality. The day was ending. Jesus had been teaching for hours. He was in a remote place, far from any town. The crowd that followed him was enormous. 5,000 men, not even counting the women and children. They were hungry. Jesus' disciples, always practical, came to him. "Master, this is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away. Send them so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." They saw a logistical problem, un impossible problème. But Jesus looked at them and said something that shocked them. "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." Imagine the silence. The disciples must have looked at each other. Is he joking? Philip, the disciple who managed the numbers, spoke up. "Lord, 200 denarii, 8 months' wages, would not buy enough bread for each one to have a single bite." They were focused on the scarcity. They saw what they did not have. Jesus then asked, "What do you have?" Andrew, Peter's brother, found a tiny shred of hope. "Here is a boy," he said, almost embarrassed. "He has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish." And then he voiced everyone's doubt. "But what is that for so many? 5 small loaves, 2 dried fish, a child's lunch, to feed a crowd the size of a small stadium." It was ridiculous. But for Jesus, it was enough. "Bring them here to me," he said. Then Jesus gave a strange command. "Have the people sit down on the grass." The disciples obeyed, confused. They organized the crowd into groups of 50s and 100s. Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He did not complain about how little it was. He looked up to heaven. He gave thanks. He broke the bread, and he gave it to the disciples to distribute to the people. They took the pieces, and something began to happen. They handed it out, and the bread didn't run out. They took more fish, and the fish didn't run out. The miracle didn't happen in Jesus' hands. It happened in the disciples' hands, as they were obeying. The crowd began to eat, and they ate more. They didn't just get a bite. They ate until they were satisfied. All 5,000 men, plus the women and children. When everyone had eaten their fill, Jesus said, "Gather the pieces that are left over, so that nothing is wasted." They filled 12 baskets. 12 baskets full of leftovers. They started with an insufficient lunch, and they ended with more leftovers than what they started with. Jesus took human scarcity and turned it into divine abundance. He teaches us that what we have in our hands, no matter how small it seems, when we give it to Him, when we bless it instead of cursing it, He can multiply it beyond our wildest imagination. The problem wasn't the size of the boy's lunch. The problem was the size of the disciples' faith. What is your impossible today? What in your life feels too small? Comment. "Jesus, multiply what I have, and give your 5 loaves to him."